Na jó estét, szervusztok, sziasztok, itt vagyunk és néha játszunk, és... És hát az a helyzet, hogy folytatjuk a kalandunkat. Igen, és reméljük, hogy technikai gondjaink nem lesznek, mint legutóbb. Még szerencse, hogy akkor se hang, se semmi nem volt. De a lényeg, hogy... ja. Hogy visszamegyünk ide. Ugye a várost, a falut azt kiolvasztottuk. Igen, várjál, őtőle megvan, ők föl van rakva, neki nincsen. Jó, egy dolgot, ő viszonylag könnyen beszerezhető, és van, nem. A bunkerbe vagy ide? Szerintem még ide, jó? Megyünk ide. És a mozgóizét nem kell megszereznünk, mert csak a jeges, illetve az új. Icewall, Frostmine, tehát hogy hívják, ilyen fagyott. Nagyjából szerintem ennek megfelelőt kapjuk, hogy így belelépnek, és akkor... Szóval... igen, hogy ilyen akna, fagyos akna, tehát hogy ott fogja sebezni őket, vagy durrantani, amiket leöldözött ránk a madárka. Akit elintéztünk, ugye? Jó. Begyűjtve. Jó, nem megyünk híd alá, hanem menjünk arra fölfelé. Óaj! Nézd már! Hülyegyék! Már ez be ott fagyaszt? Oj! Ez akkor is be volt fagyva? Mindenképpen meg kell vele küzdenem. Nagyon úgy tűnik. Nem ússzuk meg. Jó van, tudjuk le gyorsan akkor. Jó. Nem jó. Elkapott a kocsi. Ho, gyerekek. Várjál, itt átveszhetnek a fegyverre úgy gyorsan, hiszen pont itt volt, ez most szerencsésen. Aha, azt hitted. Mindenképpen elkapott. Mármint, hogy belekapaszkodtunk, ott a hasára kellene. Hol vagyunk? Mindjárt ott vagyunk. Mindjárt ott vagyunk. Hogy ki, húz ki. Aztán nem tudszózunk. Na. És több gondot az már nem fog jelenteni nekünk. Ha már így alakult, akkor legalább ne legyen vele gondom. Nem rémlik, hogy erre beügyültünk volna, de valószínűleg igen. De nem. A repkedő madárral itt küzdöttünk, az biztos. De akkor ezek szerint ez a rész, az kimaradt. Na, mert itt körbenéztünk, igen, erre emlékszem. Begyűjtöttünk egy valag dolgot. Nagyon ügyük voltunk egyébként. Ott még a Garrison meg a The Keep alatt. Pont a felirat. Ja nem, ott vannak pipák, azokat megszereztük. Hol látunk még kalapácsot? Sehol. Simán lehet, hogy a másik kettő akkor az a lenti részen van. Na most leszek kíváncsi, hogy elkezdve itt akadgatni. Mert ugye... Hoppá! Már ugye ezzel volt a gond. Hogy ott bementünk, azt úgy akadt, mint állat. Olyan frame dropot dobott gyerekek, hogy ilyet nem tudom. Utoljára rész idejénben láttam, amikor sose volt elég erős gépem, hogy megfelelően futtassam egy játékot. Hoppá!
Should be a drop somewhere around here. Another notice. Drops must be completed and all runners to safety before the next predicted flood.
This confirms they have a way to predict the floods, and some way to stay safe.
Let's stay focused on our runners for now. That's all of them.
3 supply drops. Not a lot of answers.
Aha, és itt lehetett ugye lejutni, igen. Másik irányba közelítettük meg annak idején a dolgot. Annak idején, pár órával ezelőtt. És igen, főfele megjártunk mindent. Emlékeim szerint. Torony tetején is voltunk. Hoppá, itt várj, itt kijött nekünk. Itt fölkelt. Az előbb még itt ücsörögtek, de most ők úgy döntöttek, hogy ránk támadnak.
Private chambers, perhaps belonging to the Bastion's commander.
A letter to the commander from Khan Stanild.
Jó,
He
ezt
signed his
így
title
megfogjuk.
beneath. The Eye. Times have necessitated an information blackout.
Ez be fog
The
indítani.
cause of the casualties must
Tűzzel.
be purged from even the Bastion's most secure records. Furthermore, military personnel are to be separated from civilians unless facilitating the evacuation from Denevron. If word of the problem's true severity spreads across the populace, panic will be uncontrollable. It is imperative that asylum succeeds.
Paints a stark picture.
All these documents you're finding will be illuminating. I might be able to piece this together soon. But whatever asylum is, it sounds like a large-scale military endeavor. We should find more evidence of it than just a few papers.
I need to keep scouting the Bastion then.
Jó, kellően szétzúztuk itt a dolgokat. Na! Menjünk már föl. Fölnézzünk a tetejére. Nem tudom, hogy megéri, mert mindig van itt mostanában valami a tetőn. Hát egyébként ide akartam bejönni. Pajzsa nélkül, mert nem olyan nagy fiú. Gondoltam, hogy egy kicsit ő is kapjon a tűzből. Bocs nélkül már nem fog pattogni. Ennyi volt, fia mia. Már nem olyan veszélyesek, amióta rájöttünk, hogy elő lehet velük bánni.
Found a key swatch. There's a note with it. It says, Commander, it's ready. Use the harness to execute Asylum.
Another key swatch. Wonder if it will lead us to whatever the harness is.
Only one way to find out.
With the documents you found in the bastion already, wherever that key swatch leads must be a crucial piece of the puzzle.
I'll use it when I'm ready then.
Hey! Megmondom, hogy jövök le. Hát, ha ezt itt így látom, de nem látom. Mert hogy nem látom az utolsó, a 7. A 7. kalapácsot felrajzolva, már látom. Igen, ott lent. Rögtön a bejáratnál. Aha. Azt mondja, hogy itt nincs ezen a... Lehet, hogy megérne visszamenni. Mindegy, amit most csinálunk, az viszont tuti annyi legalább lesz, hogy akkor elmegyünk. Megnézem, hogy most ott az a kalapáccsal mi a helyzet. Azt hiszem, ezt itt be lehet menni. hogy rejtett? Így föltűnt. Főleg az a pöttyöt, hogy megjelent. Azt így rögtön az aljához elrejteni szerintem genyóság volt. Nem az olyan két fillérért. Az így gyorsabb visszaütett szerintem a táborba. Nem sűrűn szoktuk alkalmazni, de most úgy éreztem, hogy szükség van rá. Codex compiling. Na várjál, aha. Ez valójában akkor le van fordítva, így meg vagyunk.
R is with the numbers of false increment that just indicates spaces.
Összeraktuk akkor a darabjait.
Got it?
Yes, I'll translate all that we have and we can discuss it with Casmin.
Good stuff, Lane.
And valuable insight into
Sarah, Lane, what are you reading?
A Book Boundless. It's a pastoral, though a rare post-surge work that incorporates...
Mondtam, hogy ő megvan.
Unexpected.
Looking over the notes from...
Dated almost the enchanter who created most people who would act.
The best we have is a novice's musings.
The observations appear accurate, and the enchanter was careful not to draw any ill-founded conclusions. But good methodology
Kicsit
did not
elnyomkodtuk,
replace
de nem baj,
experience.
mert már úgy haladunk,
Sense
már
now that the Enclave lost control
kicsit
of
ezek
their
a
own constructs.
dumcsizós részek olyan oncsik.
The letters
De
were
jó.
untouched, but the eye blotted out a lot of information from other documents I collected in the Bastion. Do you think the Enclave's leader was trying to hide the Ark hostility from
Mert
his
úgy
own
nem tudom,
people?
olyan nagyon
I'm
állok
not
itt,
sure
tehát
how you
nem
could
sokat
hide the fact that
változik a
constructs taller than a building have gone on a
kép se,
rampage.
legalább nagyobb fázis különbségek lennének.
Still, in times of crisis, paranoid governments have tried to bury all manner of scandals. And the Enclave certainly
Egyébként a
seems
szinkron az jó.
paranoid.
The Ark we followed through the Veil wasn't hostile. Any new ideas on what makes it different?
One possibility is that, since we know the Ark was being smuggled out of the Enclave, its deactivation might have insulated it from the surge. Another option, according to her notes, Lucia tinkered with its governing schema. That may also have had an impact. We do know our little friend is quite resilient to magic in general.
If we could help the Hearthsiders get on their feet, do you think they could regain control of the Arks?
Anyone who knew anything about the Ark's core design is long dead. A particularly innovative enchanter might have some luck with minor malfunctions. But the Arks aren't simply shut down or stumbling blindly in fields they once farmed. They've become violent, presumably even against their creators, and that won't be solved by something as simple as...
There's no hope of regaining control.
With enough dedication, time, and research, anything is possible, but it won't be easy. Don't stay your blade just yet.
I guess there's still a lot of Arks smashing in my future.
For the time being, at least. Unfortunate.
If we can't use them to farm, they make great scrap.
Oh, relegating the Enclave's premier innovation to scavenged parts isn't a victory we should be celebrating.
It's something.
Van itt bőven, amiket beszerezzünk. Csak annyira nem értem, hogy miért kéne nekem, vagy milyen előnyöm származna abból, ha én azokat is legyártogatnám.
Well, Codebreakers, how are we feeling?
Satisfied. We have enjoyed reasonable success.
That's Lane's way of saying they crushed it.
Notes being passed between a brother and sister, quite candid. And in particular with their boss, who they refer to as the Grumple.
The Grumple?
A Renlund myth, where ill-behaved children would be gathered up in a sack and tossed into the river to drown at the end of the year.
By?
The Grumple, yes. Renlund fables prominently feature drowning as a punishment for children. The myth has fallen out of favour in recent decades, though. Ren society is less forgiving of flights of fancy.
The Grumple. Really?
Really.
Moving swiftly on. What else did the drop say?
Remember that ominous note about tracking individually in specific teams?
From the context provided by our hauler, we now know a significant number of Hearthsiders survived the surge.
But only just surviving. They relied on the runner-hauler teams. But supplies consistently went missing. There is also a sense that the Enclave was getting increasingly dangerous for the Scouts.
The floods, of course.
With supplies running thin, the supply teams were falling under suspicion of stealing.
This pair responded with the entirely reasonable, if exhausting, plan of overperforming.
I've done that job, Lane. Sometimes you just need to prove the ass in charge wrong.
Indeed. They collected a cache of rare items they were planning to turn in when they felt its size and value would erase any suspicion.
Do we know if they turned it in?
No, but we know what it was.
And that's where I come in.
After the surge,
Semmi új.
no one was even sure that
Mindig
anyone
csak a
inside the
felkeltő
veil
éreket
survived.
eltüntetjük onnan.
Yet, why didn't they lower the veil to seek help? Surely a few broken arcs isn't what stopped them.
The Enclave seems to hold never-ending secrets.
Kíváncsiak, hogy igen, milyen
Who knows
titkokat
what
rejt
else its
abból az
leaders were
oldalból induljunk be. A kíváncsiságunkból ne ez ilyen túlélés, meg mit
Maybe
tudom
they
én.
kept the veil up to withhold their discoveries from powerful enemies.
Maradjunk az egyszerű kíváncsiság.
And their kin. All the weavers they shut out with that veil. No, that can't be it. These were the greatest weavers of all time. If only...
Never can't help but wonder what life might have been like if they'd lowered the veil.
Not just for them. But no matter who you were or where you came from, the Enclave could be your home. After the surge, weavers didn't just lose the Enclave. We were outcasts in every nation. Not that I need to tell you that. Yusak, the veil served as a constant reminder that magic was the source of all the world's problems. A convenient scapegoat for every failed leader. And weavers were an acceptable casualty. And the Hearthsiders just left it there.
So we need to find out why.
Oké. Jó, akkor ez lesz a következő célpontom. A bástyánnál még viszont van egy újra a madárka. Szóval meg lehetne ismerkedni. Azért menjünk oda, hogy szerezzünk tőle még egyszer. Kemény csata volt, de talán sikerülni fog újra. Megpróbáljuk kimaxolgatni a... tudásunkat. Csak azért, hogy itt ne okozzon nekünk gondot. És erre elrepült? Nem volt szép tőle, hogy elrepült. Jöjjön már vissza. Na úgy. Nyilván. Jók ezek az őszi megfázások. Na, ilyeneket fogunk tudni tőle.
frost strand will be useful.
Everything all right?
Yeah. There's just so much. Oh. And a letter. Encoded like the others.
Can't wait to work it out.
So, the letter. I'm prepared for bad news.
How did you know?
They were collecting supplies for other survivors. We know someone is out there. The supplies never made it to them. That, and the tear stains.
Is that what that was? Yes, well, there's a lot to cover. We have the cache itself and our scrounging siblings.
We should at least give you the high-level details on both.
Talk to me about the supplies.
They did astonishing work. If I weren't sure they're both gone, I'd hire them.
Indeed, a robust collection, including several enchanted objects we barely recognize.
They had a keen eye for things that could decay and took care to preserve them.
You two sound giddy.
If there's one thing Lane and I are passionate about, it's preservation of rare objects.
Have you been working your magic, Casmin?
Obviously. Thank you for bringing everything back so carefully.
Anything of note?
Yes, but let's save that until we've done the other questions.
Mysterious. Were there any hints of more of these?
As far as we can tell, this was it. Their motherlode.
It's impressive one runner could gather this much, frankly.
That's enough about the cache.
Sure.
What did the final note say?
Yes, right. It was a farewell. One sibling disappeared.
I thought the runner of the pair was the one we found.
So did we. But this last message was a farewell to his sister. Apparently the Grumpole...
Really?
I know. But apparently their boss had been ordered to stop wasting resources on this.
And so our hauler left this farewell, hoping his sister might find it, on the off chance she was alive.
He was going to remove all their other messages so their plan wouldn't be found out.
We postulate he was on his way to do that, when...
When the flood caught him.
These people, however many are left,
But they might really need our help.
they're still organized and have a command structure, but it sounds dysfunctional.
I'm not going to say the name, but do we have any sense of who was giving their orders?
The Enclave's leader was called the Eye, a first of firsts, after a fashion. Elected from the masters of each craft, the High Smith, High Enchanter, and so on. Unfortunately, we don't have any details about their direct superior. I will spare you the name.
Did we confirm they weren't actually stealing from the Enclave?
The letter seems genuine. I think their plan was to bring in a big haul.
It says a lot about the Hearthsiders that our siblings thought this would clear any suspicion.
How so?
The cloud of suspicion tells us they were in dire times, tightening the screws on their own people.
But bring in a big load and we trust you. Doesn't that sound a little like a bribe?
So you think our runners were dirty?
No. I think the system's dirty, and they're just stuck working through it.
Is there anything we could do you think?
Sadly, no. But their story will live on in our chronicle.
Let's move on to something else.
Of course.
So, where do we go from here?
Good news. We compared notes with Dom. We found parts that will let us complete Lucia's thimble, from those schematics you decoded.
It has been a busy time. Solar will handle the assembly, of course.
I suppose the only other thing to say is, good job, Bryn.
Indeed. We have made progress in unraveling the shape of what the post-Surge society looks like in the Enclave. Further, these documents are invaluable to the historical record.
And maybe you put a couple souls to rest.
Na hát akkor nem maradt más területünk. Mint ismét ide, mert viszont tőle meg bárhogy nézem, de esetlegesen ott középen. Ez kis terület és könnyen behatárolható, hogy hol van. Az utolsó jég bizét be tudjuk talán szerezni. Mert ugye az még egy kell, hogy a jégfalhoz nekünk meglegyen. És ellene bizony ez a legjobb. Nem lesz kellemes, mert jeges. Jéges pálya. Jéges az időjárás. Menekülnek előle. Lecsapjuk, oké. Oké, akkor innen most levegyünk és megpróbáljuk az állán levőt. Bár lehet, hogy várj, az le van csapva, oké. Jó, ezt most nem kockáztatunk. Jól van. Légy, legalább itt engedjetek el egy kicsikét. Oh. mindenképpen még szereznünk kell egy pár HP növelőt, mert anélkül nem sokat ér. Igen, sajnos ugye ez nem a legjobb időjárás és körülmények között vagyunk, hogy megküzdjünk vele, de hát most összeadta a gép sajnos. Nem tudtunk kellően gyorsan végezni vele, azóta nehéz. Ez a leggenyóbb dög egyébként szerintem. Az összes. Csak megtisztítom a terepet, hogy nyugodtan el tudjunk menni bármikor. Marad? Hátul azt még le akarok csapni. Anyukádat? Most kapaszkodj. Nem rázol le, nem rázol le. Anyád. az anyukádat! Picsába!
Pulling you, brace for it.
Jó van, jó van. Őt értjük a legkevésbé egyébként, hogy az Istenbe kellene legyőzni. Én megmondom őszintén. Vele vannak a legnagyobb ilyen gondjaim. Azt ott, hogy lecsapjuk, az odáig megvan. Azokat az elemeit. Jó, valahogy leszedtük a szört róla. Na most várjál, lefejelt. És ilyenkor el van kábulva, ilyenkor kellene odaérnünk. Mi az Isten értem? Na, légy húzzad ki! Izgáld meg, izgáld meg! szét!
That frost strand will be useful.
Szóval a szőrt azt egyébként le kell valahogy róla szedni, csak az után lesz jó. És akkor jelenik meg ott a kis buksijánál a lehetőség, ha lefejjel, és akkor úgy kicsit meg van szédülve. Új, de ezt nem szeretem, ezt a gyíkot. Ráadásul fagyék, faggyal sebez, fagyott környezetbe. Fagyott környezetek az egyik legnehezebbek, mert tényleg, ha nem készíted elő a terepet, akkor mindenhonnan. Mindenhonnan csak sebződünk, és akkor még lassít is. Új, na jó, nézzük meg ezt az új helyet, ahol be lehetett jönni. Majd visszamegyünk, amikor...
Barrier almost looks like the veil.
It must be the one Lucia wrote about in her notes.
And the panel looks like our scry. Anyone know what it is?
No idea.
Na.
Similar design to a scry, but it looks like it's a permanent installation. Like it interfaces with the room. Could this be the harness?
Must be. It seems like Asylum involved sealing away whatever's beyond this barrier.
With this discovery and everything else you found, I should be able to piece together what Asylum actually was.
Jó, vissza kell mennünk a csajhoz. Mert még egyelőre nem tudunk, azon a nagy felhőn nem fogunk tudni áthaladni. Össze kell hasonlítanunk az itteni vett mintát az ottanival. Érdekes, hogy ezeken a területeken mennyire nehezen találjuk meg azokat a szövegleírásokat. Ilyen egész sokat találtunk, de itt vagyok. Na, valószínűleg úgy el vannak rúgva a ház tetőkön. Jó. Akkor vissza. Akkor meg jól jössz, bekapcsoltuk, és akkor így a jegesgyíkos, jégvarázsos dolgot is maxra húzzuk.
Our supply runners might be why there are so many crates gathered around the city.
Why do they reappear though?
Dom and I have a theory. The arcs might still be partially functioning.
So, when they're not trying to kill me, they tidy up the place?
Like I said, a theory. But that was a big part of what they were built to do.
You know, there's one silver lining to the sad tale of our deceased runners.
What's that?
We know the Hearthsiders still have some advanced production capabilities. The materials they were gathering don't have much use for basic survival. Therefore, weapons, armor, and enchantments.
Any concerns about us claiming them?
None. They've been there long enough. Scavenger etiquette applies. These kinds of materials are too rare to let go to waste.
Half-siders are scavenging their own city. Things must be dire.
I'm worried about them after that particular discovery.
You've a kind heart, Bryn. Though I'll stick to worrying about us, if you don't mind.
Oks. Na, akkor ezt is megfejlesztettük, de rendesen. Akkor az Ice Wall is a maximumon.
Shame to lose such prodigious runners.
The Hearthsiders have had it harder than any of us expected.
Indeed. We shan't let their efforts go to waste. Lucia's thimble is within our reach thanks to them.
I know we need to discuss the barrier and its potential ties to the flood. But want to give me a rundown of the research first?
Of course. Years after the surge, there was an inexplicable spike in casualties.
You don't think it's due to the arcs going hostile?
That may be part of it, but we can't be certain due to the information blackout. All we know is that it nearly wiped the Hearthsiders out. What seems to have saved them was Asylum's execution. A defensive measure that involved sealing the underground behind a magical barrier.
Almost like the Veil.
Exactly like the Veil.
It's got to be where the Hearthsiders went, right? Remember, the letter mentioned they were evacuated from the city.
To an undisclosed location. We have no real confirmation that they are down there.
But it would make sense, wouldn't it? After all, asylum can mean shelter or safekeeping.
It can also mean prison. I know everyone wants an easy answer to where they went, but something just doesn't add up. You would think there would be at least one document linking Asylum to the evacuation of the city, and there simply isn't.
Khan Stanild gave the orders to execute Asylum. Do we know anything else about him?
Judging from the series of letters between him and the commander, it would seem that, at the time, he was recently elected. And judging from the frequency with which he followed up on the commander's progress with Asylum, this defensive measure was a key pillar in his political platform. He seemed to grow increasingly concerned with his popularity among civilians in the most...
Ugh. Isn't that kind of slime?
Leveraging a security crisis to consolidate political influence? Yes, it's incredibly slimy and effective.
And the commander? Do we know what happened to him?
It would appear that Asylum was executed successfully, so perhaps he is still alive. But until we find the Hearthsiders, we can't know for sure.
You said the casualties spiked long after the surge. Can you elaborate on what might have caused this?
This is truly the thousand-fairer question. With the information blackout, I can't find a concrete link to the cause across hundreds of pages. Arc hostility could certainly be a factor. Clearly, numerous weavers were killed by their own defenses. The recorded minutes from other meetings in the war room illustrate a long period of geological instability, aftershocks and earthquakes, and well, not to mention the outskirts grew more dangerous each year as the creatures were allowed to breed unculled. But these threats seemed to plateau in the early years after the surge. There is no mention of the spike that resurfaced and prompted Asylum.
That's so strange.
It is.
So the Enclave didn't just hide information from the rest of the Maida, but their own people as well.
Judging from the secrecy and a few of the letters you found, I would guess that high-level officials were paranoid. Clearly, not everyone was in favor of this measure, and some might have wished to thwart it.
People like Lucia.
And a dissenting group known as the Verdant Minds that she had ties to. Though it's entirely unclear what those ties were.
So, back to the barrier. Think it's the one Lucia was trying to take down?
Yes, the very same. She was right, too. It's causing the miasma floods. The raw magic that off-gasses from the Veil is what causes the tangles to cluster at its base. In speaking with Darm, we theorized that this second barrier could potentially be doing the same thing. Except in a more pressurized environment, like, say, within a barrier of kinetic magic...
We don't get small pockets of raw magic like tangles. We get floods of it.
Precisely.
So we need to remove Asylum's barrier to stop the flood. Now we really need to talk to the others.
Agreed.
All right. Let's go over everything we know so far.
We know we're still not sure the cause.
Wherever the Hearthsiders went, they're still actively sending scouting groups to scavenge for supplies. From the uniform, the creeper who was watching Bryn sleep belongs to one of these groups.
We also know that a defensive procedure codenamed Asylum sealed access to the Enclave underground. This was done using a barrier almost exactly like the Veil.
Lucia, an ex-high enchantress, opposed Asylum and began working on ways to
Her research forecasted that the barrier would cause the Enclave to flood with Maya, the very same flood that seems to have killed Lucia before she was able to finish her thimble.
But we have her design. It could disrupt Asylum's barrier.
So Lucia's thimble is the key to our survival.
It's less a key and more like a magical battering ram.
Whatever works.
What is it, Lane?
It's just... I've pored over all the documents we've compiled, and a concrete link between the evacuation plan and the underground is nowhere to be found. I can't shake the feeling we're missing something.
Lane. If it turns out the underground is filled
Megoldjuk.
with
Már
five-headed
büszkén.
lizards spitting poison
Valami
into the
hiányzik,
Hearthsiders,
valamire nem
I'll
gondoltunk,
be
de
fine.
megjegyezzük, hogy faszák vagyunk, úgyhogy megoldjuk.
Skies. That might even be more fun.
We have different definitions of fun.
Being a weaver isn't about being certain all the time. It's about taking calculated risks to carve a path forward. And regardless of the Hearthsider's location, disrupting the barrier is the only option to stop the flood.
You're right. I just hope that if we did miss something, it doesn't come back to bite us.
Even if it does, we will handle it.
That settles it. Bryn, it's time to use the thimble.
Na várjál. Most megkaptunk mindent hozzá. Hát, akkor használjuk.
Thank you for your help with that, Bryn. You've a deft hand. Also, Lucia knew what she was doing. This thimble was clearly designed to pair seamlessly with Enclave constructions.
Must be her experience as a high enchantress at work.
Based on Lucia's notes and what we discovered at the Bastion, this was custom designed to disrupt Asylum's barrier.
If it can stop the flood, we need to use it soon.
Agreed. We don't know how much time we have left.
Jó, lesz még rá alkalmam. Én most az évet. Hogy tovább fejlődjünk. A madárkát is könnyebb lesz majd elintéznünk legközelebb. Tudom, még egyszer meg kéne szerezni tőle.
That console that looks like our scry should be the controls for the barrier.
De most
The thimble
valamink
was built
lesz.
to interface with it.
És hát ha azzal még jobbak leszünk. Vagy legalábbis a történetbe átlepünk a harmadik részbe is. Nem szőjél vele egyet. Így is lehet szőni. Hey! kő. Érkezett valami. Ott jönnek a szörnyek. Balca. Már kinyitottuk. Hát akkor ezt akadályozta meg az eset. Hát ezek hova mentek?
Great timing. I owe you one.
You need to come with me. All of you.
Mindennyiuknak jönni kell. Aha.
We mustn't cause a panic.
Sure. It's not like we had a dire supply shortage on
Újabb
our hands before
ismerősök,
this happened.
mármint hogy újabb szereplők lépnek be az életünkbe.
What do I tell the High Enchanter? The guild will want...
Enough. We won't discuss this further. Not in front of our guests. Identify yourselves.
Harpenay, or Silverbeak, as I'm known among Weaver circles. This is my band, and beside me is our acting point.
Bryn. And you are?
Khan Stunhild, Eye of the Enclave. My colleagues are the Spindle and the Axle, representatives of the Enchanting and Crafting guilds. Who sent you?
Sent us?
Tarza? Renland? Udea? The Enclave is the envy of the Maida for its magical prowess. Clearly one of those nations has finally grown a spine and decided to take it for themselves in our moment of weakness.
Moment? No one sent us. We came here by accident.
What kind of fool do you take me for? You expect me to believe that you bypassed our veil, infiltrated our loom gates, and breached asylum without a national power backing you?
When you put it that way.
This is a misunderstanding. We're Weavers, like you. There was a brief opportunity to enter the Enclave for the first time in decades, and we took it. Everything we've done since we arrived has been to uncover what happened here after the Surge. And to find you.
If that is true, have you really no inkling of the trouble you've caused?
No.
Your reckless conduct has unleashed an enemy that nearly destroyed us 27 years ago.
The Surgeborn. They first appeared a little over a decade after the veil went up.
Where did they come from?
No one knows. But they arrived in the underworks before making their way to the surface.
Where they left a trail of destruction in their wake and wreaked havoc on the Enclave.
Causing casualties to rise.
And so I called for a retreat here, saving countless lives. We sealed the Surgeborn in the underworks for good. Until now.
We've been here a little while now.
Ja, pontosan,
Don't you
miért
think
nem
all this could have
jöttek,
been
ha tudták,
avoided
hogy
if
itt
you
vagyunk?
properly said hello?
She's right.
This is hardly our fault.
Look, Surgeborn or not, we had no choice but to remove the barrier. Though, I suppose we owe you thanks for warning us about the floods.
Who warned you?
You did.
Did we?
While we can agree Arakim breached no contact protocol, it has proven to be the right decision. The floods were growing worse, and now they have stopped. Even if fixing them has introduced a new problem.
One my band would be more than happy to help you solve.
Ha! Work together.
Sorry to interrupt, but you mentioned your last name earlier. Any relation to Shireen Harpenay?
She was my mother. You know who she is?
Of course! I mean, before my time, obviously. But she's still renowned in the Enchanting Guild. Her work is remarkable. There's a statue of her in Denevra.
Oh. I can't believe she didn't mention that.
There is so much I'd love to ask you, but Oria comes from a long bloodline of outstanding and renowned weavers.
Your presence in the outskirts will be tolerated.
What about the Surgeborn?
What about them?
Shouldn't we work together to deal with them?
We could use the help.
The Surgeborn are a problem for anyone in the outskirts, not us. Cassidon's Hold is a fortress.
The scouts do head into the outskirts to scavenge for supplies.
We'll take our own precautions. Speaking of, we have pressing matters to attend to.
But...
Enough! My word is final.
Bryn, the one that led us here is clearly the one that warned us. Try to talk to him before we leave. Maybe he's willing to work with us.
Will do.
Na ez egy gyarogáshoz.
This can't be right.
Hát jó, akkor beszéljünk vele. Igen, talán ő segíthet.
Hey, Arakim.
Oh, just call me Aaron.
Well, Arik, I never got a chance to thank you. You know, for grabbing me before I fell to my death.
I think you had it. Besides, I couldn't let you plummet into a chasm. The Eye is pretty peeved with me, but hey, that's just a bonus.
You and the Eye don't seem to get along very well.
What gave it away? The mutual contempt. The Eye doesn't like anyone who shows initiative. Or, unfortunately, those are my main qualities. And
Yeah, I didn't get the impression he's my biggest fan. Will you be in trouble for saving?
I'd worry if he ever decided to get off his throne and do something about it. But he finds that throne very comfortable.
So, are you glad we're here?
I'm thrilled you're here.
I have to say, I'm surprised.
Oh, yeah. Sorry for all that cloak and dagger stuff earlier. Khan Stanild had me on strict orders not to make contact with your Weaver band. But it was the right call. From what I just saw, your presence here is having an impact.
How so?
Notice how the Axle took my side against the Eye earlier. That never happens. And the Spindle is as quiet as a mouse most of the time, but not today.
Uh-huh. So these are big changes.
It might not sound like much, but they're excited you're here. Stanild can tell too. That's why he backed down so easily. And that's why I'm glad.
So you're not upset that I breached Asylum, like your colleagues?
I've been pushing to do something about the Surgeborn for years now. Setting them free wasn't great, but sealing them in the underworks indefinitely was never a good solution. Frankly, I think Khan Stanild is just annoyed you undid his one claim to fame. I guarantee he has no plans to do anything about the Surgeborn now that they're free.
You don't think he sees them as a threat?
He's got his head in the sand about a lot of things.
You seem awfully trusting of us, considering the terrible first impression we've made.
I was spying on you the first time we met, so let's call it even.
Sure. Maybe you know everything already then, but have you got any questions for me?
Just one. Why are you here?
Growing up, I saw the Enclave as a symbol of what Weavers lost after the Surge. After all, we have no home to return to, and we're pariahs in most nations. But the longer I'm in here, the more I realize how much your people have lost too, and still stand to lose. I'm here to help, however I can.
That is exactly what I was hoping you'd say. If that's truly what you want, then dealing with the Surgeborn is the first step. Ever since the Veil went up, our people have been in crisis. They've spent so long in it, they're afraid to do what it takes to get out. It doesn't help that some have benefited off that same crisis.
Who?
Who always benefits? The very top. Our leaders are too preoccupied with their own concerns to form a unified front against the Surgeborn.
Such as?
The Spindle is obsessed with getting the Arcs functional again. She believes that will help us regain control. And the Axle is too stressed about our supply shortage right now. But, if their concerns were handled, they could pressure the Eye to finally address the Surgeborn.
That sounds like an opportunity. And are you a representative yourself?
Representative, yes. Sway? No. I represent the Scouts, meaning I'm at the meetings, but I don't have the title to back me up. The Scouts were once points like you, but our role has changed since the Veil went up. We were effectively drafted into scavenging for food and supplies. It made sense following the Surge, but it's been years. Recently, we've even been separated from Cassidon's hold and the remaining civilians. Anyway, it's the guild leaders who will need to pressure Khan Stanild into dealing with the Surgeborn. That's where my people need your help the most. Then...
Sounds like I've got some palms to grease.
Yuck. But I'll come by your camp later. We'll be able to speak more freely there.
What is that about?
The Eye isn't one for idle chit-chat. That's worth watching.
Talk to you back at our camp.
You got it.
Sev, you all right?
No. I mean, yes.
You sure?
Rin, the rest of us are heading out. See you back at camp.
I got to go.
Before Asylum, all the loom gates were reset so that the Surgeborn couldn't use them to continue spreading. How did you reconnect to the city?
We tracked down a key swatch to Denevron. Found it in the mayor's home in Poldervale.
Your band is quite resourceful.
Dom loves discussing magical theory. He would be thrilled to speak with the Enclave's leading enchantress.
That is tempting. But the Eye wouldn't be pleased if he caught me speaking to your band any more than I have to. No offense, but I should really get back to work.
Excuse me, but Arakim mentioned you're the Spindle, a leading representative for the High Arcanists.
Oh, yes, that's correct.
We wanted to formally introduce ourselves. I'm Aurea, as you know. This is Dom, our enchanter, and Bryn, our acting point.
We didn't catch your name earlier. Khan?
Just call me Isla. Is there something I can help you with?
We'd actually like to help you. Apparently you want to restore the Arks.
Shh! Not so loud. Sorry, that sounds wonderful, but the Eye won't be happy about us collaborating.
Pooling resources and sharing knowledge is hardly a bad thing. Why would the Eye be upset about us trying to help you?
It's complicated. Anyway, I do want to fix the Arks. More than anything. I just need you to be quiet about it.
Okay. We'll try, but forgive us if our excitement bubbles over and we forget.
It's Dom. He's the one that might forget.
We know that the Arks began malfunctioning after the surge. A select few were even sabotaged. Any idea on what caused the other malfunctions?
Some theories, but nothing solid. Anyone who knew how to create Arks, let alone fix them, died before I was born. I've tinkered with an inactive Ark that's lying near the Grand Gate, but it would make a world of difference if I could study a resonance that was freshly harvested from a great Ark's pattern.
Consider it done.
Bryn's got you covered. She has a knack for harvesting great Ark.
You'll have it in no time.
If you're sure, I certainly would appreciate it. With discretion, of course.
Right.
We've been talking a while. You'd better go.
So, you.
Me?
The one causing trouble. The one poking into corners. The one who hasn't the good sense to leave well enough alone.
Had you allowed Arakim to reach out to us sooner, this could have been avoided.
Majd akik megoldják itt a helyzetet.
Arakim has a proven record of poor judgment on matters of protocol. I will not be lectured by the person who put us all at risk on how best to handle our security.
Azért, mert odafönt van a ranglétrán, akkor már lekezelő lehet.
Please, share what you hope to accomplish by loitering around the hold.
Before we met, it was clear from my exploration of Denevron that you have sourcing issue. Your lack of production capacity was obvious. We can help with your shortages.
A caravan of 7 is going to supply a fortress of thousands. What's next? You'll turn water into Sanzami? Though you are correct. Sourcing has been a consistent problem since even before we abandoned the capital. We have hundreds of trained scouts, but wooden swords and paper shields are hardly going to mount an offensive. So despite certain assertions that we must do something, we lack the tools with which to make any great strides.
Like it or not, I'm here to help.
The Enclave stands on a blade's edge. Stretch our resources too thin on risky ventures, and we face certain elements of our population call for action, for bold purpose. And I ask you, what purpose is bolder than survival?
Well,
purely rhetorical. We must survive, and we must make considered, careful moves if we are to do. There is no sacrifice too great towards that goal. You, at least, understand the precarity of our situation. Now understand the necessity of our caution.
I do, but...
Thank you for your time.
But...
You may...
Hát, jó, hogy ő elmondta maga véleményét. Mi arra nem tudtunk reagálni. De hát legyen neki igaza.
All this wreckage scattered throughout the room.
Khan Stanild.
And that's because he...
Correct. Speaking frankly, my impression is that he wanted any though visitors are few and far between. Upper government officials only. We are the lucky few over here. It's what a privilege it is to work in a building that is open to the... I understand the motivation of wanting to wait until we'd found everyone a place to live. We achieved that 20 years ago. Thousands of survivors rehomed. And yet, I still have to step over puddles to get to my...
I am simply telling you, as the foremost leader of the Enclave, that I don't want you getting distracted.
Can you clarify what you mean by that?
You know exactly what I mean. Eyes down, know your place. Focus on your own problems. Organize your little craftspeople. Keep the wheels of civilized society greased. And don't dare to presume you know better than me.
If you have a problem with my performance, you are welcome to gather feedback from the people who elected me. They may have a clearer understanding of what I bring to the table.
We'll continue this conversation later.
Hirun, Khan Atme. Allow me to formally introduce you to Bryn, the Weaver Band's point.
You're the Axel, right? Arakim says you're a good person to know.
I am. My given name is Hirun, as Arakim said, but you may refer to me as Khan Atme. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, despite the circumstances. And I wish they were better circumstances. The new Surgeborn threat requires us to realign our priorities. Some are a little slower on that than others.
If there's anything we can do to move things along.
What about the supply shortage? I've seen her in combat. She's better than...
What's her help look like? I'd prefer if she could avoid unleashing another apocalypse on us.
Unleashing the Surgeborn wasn't our best moment. What can I do to make your life easier?
Beyond asking the Enchanting Guild to develop time travel magic so you can go back and not... There's a silver lining to this Surgeborn situation that we're suddenly in a position to take advantage of.
Count me in.
Right. With the Surgeborn unleashed, we're anticipating casualties and damage to our facilities. However, there's a restricted area in the underworks that we lost access to decades ago when the Eye sealed it. The Institute. An arcane laboratory where the Enclave conducted its enchantment research, among other projects. Inside the Institute lies a significant supply cache. Its contents will be enough to keep us going, for the time being. If the notes the previous Axel left me are accurate, though, there's an additional complication.
Of course.
The Surgeborn secure territory by building structures, akin to insect hives. The Institute is likely overrun with them, and has been for 20-odd years.
So, the Surgeborn are a long-standing threat to the Enclave.
I wish I were old enough to remember what it was like to live without the fear of the Surgeborn. As a child, I sat knowing what I know now. I should have been even more scared.
I'm sorry you went through that. It must have been horrible.
Thank you.
all the more reason to actually do something about the problem, instead of spending our lives cowering behind the walls of our glorious fortress.
You'll hear no disagreement from me. Now that the...
Sounds like I need to clear any Surgeborn hives from the Institute, then.
That'll thin them out enough that my scouts will be able to access the supply cache without much trouble.
Now that Asylum is lifted, we should be able to access the loom gates in the Institute again. I'm going to trust you with this key swatch. It's been gathering dust for over 25 years.
Only the Eye would let such a crucial resource sit there for that long.
Yes. If we're clear on everything, I'll get back to work. Someone has to keep this goddamn fortress running.
What's your history here? Have you been the Axel?
Why do you care?
You seem like someone who deliberately underplays her hand. I'd hate to play a game of Panjal against you.
All right. I'll take that as a compliment. I was elected to this seat 8 years ago. I've done a good enough job to be re-elected.
What made you decide to run for leadership?
My predecessor was incompetent and took bribes. The guild members tolerated it for a time, but eventually enough was enough. The Eye...
Do you think he's taking bribes?
You really aren't afraid of us? I personally haven't seen any evidence of his corruption. It's easier to bribe the lower-level guild members.
Isn't that a bad thing?
The wheels of society must needs be greased. If they do any more than skim a little off the top, I'll come down hard on them. And that's why I've managed to keep my job. Well, part of why, anyway.
How's your working relationship with the Eye? Is he your superior?
He would like to think so. His seat casts the final vote when the council cannot make a decision.
But his seat has more power than that.
Khan Stanield wields power beyond the traditional bounds of the Eye's seat. Yes, but he is our savior. So surely he must know better than any of us. Which is to say, he is technically the highest-ranked official in the Enclave. But he hasn't faced an election in decades. In contrast, I have, let's call it, popular support.
So, what does an Axel do all day?
It varies. Some of my predecessors have been very hands-on, as befits a representative of the physical trade. That's not my strong suit, though. So I end up with my beak buried in paperwork. Maintaining supply lines, as it turns out, is considered extremely helpful.
That all makes sense? Thanks for taking a moment to talk.
Let's talk in your camp. I can speak freely there.
Na, mielőtt tovább nézelődnénk. Ja, ide-vissza. Gyűjtsünk be mindenkitől mindent, amit csak lehet még.
Yes. There's something I should have... I was born in the
How?
Oh, luck or tragedy, depending on your perspective. Before I was born, my mother and father lived here happily for several years, but they decided it would be better if my mother raised me with my grandmother and great aunts for the first few months of my life. So she left with me when I was just a hatchling, with every intention to return.
But the surge happened.
The life I should have had was lost for good. Because of all this, I never knew my father.
Is it common for Oberon hatchlings to be raised apart from their fathers?
No, but it is common for extended family to be involved in the raising of children. As you know, I come from a long line of weavers, many of whom traveled in caravans their entire lives. It was apparently quite a shock when my mother fell for a hearthsider.
So your parents were looking for a compromise when it came to raising you?
Exactly. And I wouldn't trade my childhood on the road. My great-aunts and my grandmother made me who I am.
Still,
I suppose...
Isn't it a little strange your mother never told you his name?
She was separated from him so suddenly. She had no chance to say goodbye. My mother's a strong woman, but whenever I asked about him as a child, she could only manage a few words before her face would crumble. She found it too painful to discuss, and I never wanted to pry.
But now?
I can't help but wish I knew who he was.
Does your family have something to do with your attachment to the Enclave?
Being here has meant a lot in some ways, and in others, it's very different from what I expected. Meeting the Hearthsiders was a lifelong dream, but the circumstances of our encounter, not what I'd envisioned.
Knowing now that this is your birthplace, I can see why that would be disheartening.
This was meant to be my home, after all.
This is definitely...
I am sorry for that. You need to be able to trust me.
So why hide it?
Talking about difficult and private matters is not my strong... And frankly, I rarely see the point in dwelling on the past.
I guess you and...
Huh. You might be right.
So, we're going to find out who your father was.
You would...
Of course. Maybe Lane would have some ideas on where to start.
Actually, I had an idea myself. The spindle mentioned a statue of my mother. It's clear the Enclave commemorated their champions. I can't shake this feeling my father is among them.
You think there's a statue of your father?
I know it sounds strange, but the handful of times that my mother spoke of him, she described him as this great hero. Since she was one herself, is it so crazy to think she might have meant that literally?
Maybe not. I can scope out the statues in Upper Denevron for a resemblance, if that's what...
Good. And... thank you. This is a little out of the ordinary, but the spindle gave me a key... Or rather, she dropped off a letter with one enclosed on...
Why not just hand us the key swatch at Cassidy's hold?
According to her letter, what she's asking us to investigate is highly confidential.
So, chances she was authorized to give us this key swatch?
Slim to none.
Where does it lead?
Starlight Cape. An island outpost that was abandoned following the surge. Strange sightings were reported from the mainland. However, the Hearthsiders couldn't afford to...
That's why the spindle thought of us.
We are notorious for probing our...
So?
Not much. It's a small island to the Enclave's northeast, just inside the Vale. It was fortified to watch the sea lanes, though not as heavily as Cassidy's. The rocky shore was a natural barrier to landing. Though I do recall the smith in my mother's band telling me that he'd never seen a clearer night sky than at Starlight Cape. These small islands rarely have much lamplight due to the fact that so few people live on them.
Huh. What kind of sightings are we talking about?
Apparently, the island's defining feature is an observatory at the top of its mountain. Over the years, several scouts had reported moving lights over...
Why was Starlight Cape abandoned?
Winds are always stronger on the coast, and the dramatic weather following the surge made the island inhospitable. Its military personnel were redeployed as civilian relief. And though at one time a bridge connected the island to the mainland, it was destroyed in the earthquakes.
So it's... Happy to check it out.
Good. Here's the key swatch.
So, Warrior, what do you...
Their living history. What they've seen, what not all this time, they've been here. Holding... It's great you've offered to help the axle and the spindle. Just be careful you're not going over the eye's head.
Honestly, I've seen his type before, and I don't trust him. He's slippery. We need to respect the leader of the territory we're in. He's led the Enclave during a crisis. He knows more about the Surge, the Enclave, and arguably even magic. Because while we've been outcast, he's been here. At the heart of our culture. It's something we need to respect. I'll try.
Good.
Aurea, I'm curious. Why the sudden...
He was trapped in the Enclave my entire life. This is the...
Right. But I guess what I mean is... You really never tried to find out more from your mother.
I always had this sense that it wasn't something she could discuss. There was a heaviness in the air when his name came up. She was in love with him. And then she lost him in this cataclysmic event that no one could have predicted.
That must have been unimaginably...
Yes. She wasn't a tragic figure, though. She carried it well. You'd never know she was in pain. And truthfully, I had such a good life with my mother and my grandmother. It wasn't like I felt he was
Until now.
Until we arrived here, yes. Something about this place just makes it clear how much I've lost because of the surge.
Being here makes me wonder. If the surge hadn't happened, would I have been forced to leave home to become a weaver?
Most certainly not. You would have been a valued member of society. Not. Did you have a good relationship with your mother?
I love her, but we clashed a lot. She's afraid of magic, and weavers, and adventure, and leaving home.
Basically, all the things even an Ash Peak Drake couldn't keep you from, let alone your own mother.
Pretty much.
My mother and I had our ups and downs throughout my life, too. As daughters get older...
Any chance our mothers understand us better with age?
She'll come around to the weaving, if that's what you're worried about. She loves you, after all.
She does. I...
Bryn, I'm glad you're here. I need to talk to you.
What's going on?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just... About those 90 Drake scales. I know Aurea said we don't need them, but... She just doesn't understand. It's dangerous out here, you know? Especially now that these Surgeborn are loose. We need to be prepared for anything. It's just gnawing in the back of my head. Do you think you could do it?
You haven't told me why we need them. Or better yet, why we need 90.
We want the best gear and weapons, don't we?
So, Sola asked for these?
Not exactly. They have other uses too.
Serious.
Kashar don't need as much sleep as Ashar or Casil.
But you need some sleep.
It's been a while. Maybe 10 days. Or a week. I'm fine.
I'm guessing Aurea doesn't know you want me to go Drake hunting. Do you really think it's a good idea for us to go behind her back?
It looks bad, but she just doesn't see what I'm seeing.
To be honest, I'm not sure I see it either. You need to tell me what's really going on here. I want to help, but the Drake scales? The Weaver Band is okay. More than okay. We're in the best shape we've been in since we entered the Enclave, now that we've made contact with the Heartsiders. Besides, the caravan is looking pretty full. It's not making sense.
You think I'm insane?
No, of course not.
Era's breath. But you just don't understand. Everyone could die if I don't... It would...
Whatever this is, please just tell me what's going on.
No. I shouldn't have burdened you.
But Kaz...
I can't talk about this anymore.
Caspian is not okay.
Akkor már legalább az upgrade-elés gyorsan megtartjuk. Oké, 10-et vissza és 30 slot lesz elérhető. Jó, neki csak 50 kellett tőle. Csak nem kellett volna ennyi mindent beáldoznunk, na mindegy. Még a többieknél lehet, hogy 100-ra fog kerülni a léptetés. Mondom. Jó, az ég és tűz ellen való löttyök. Mármint, hogy jobban bírjuk. Következő szinte meg 5 vitalitink lesz. Ő meg maxra húzódott. Jó, hát figyelj, akkor... hát 160-at itt hagytunk bent. Jó lesz az ajd a következő körre. Úgyis rengeteg ilyen apróságot szerzünk még be. Fegyvert meg majd lehet, hogy átvariálgatjuk, hogyha upgrade-elni vagy bármit kell. Úgyis vannak most már kék meg lila eszközeink. És akkor a zöldeket például kiváltogatjuk belőle.
Saw it 1000 times over while working in Udea. Oria may not want to hear it, but
I spoke to Oria earlier.
Oria has a case of hero.
De valószínűleg ezzel már csak legközelebb fogom, most csak begyűjtögetjük a küldetéseket. Meg végig dumcsizzuk mindenkivel, amit lehet.
You don't seem fine though.
It's just no one seems to understand how important the Ashpeak Drake skills are, and bad things are going to happen if we don't. You know what? I just can't talk about this right now. I'm sorry.
Shimmy.
Bryn, I have to say, I'm a little concerned.
Me?
I don't think you know what you're getting yourself into with the Enclave camp. You're not just helping them.
Lane, if I can fight an Archon 10 times my size, I can handle...
That's exactly my point. I was raised in the midst of political schemes and intrigue. There's always something unsaid or underhanded at play beneath the surface. Just be careful.
You won't find Oria's father running amid statues, you know. What do you mean?
You know what's most likely to get in the way of tracking down one's lineage? Family. A scholar wants to trace a family line to find connections between key historical figures.
No problem. A living relative wants to find their great-grandfather using some oh-so-precious... Why? A scholar is objective. They have no emotional attachment to the family line, no sense of self wrapped up in the results of their study. And you're saying Aurea does? I'm saying she needs to expand her search beyond Weaver heroes. She's not searching for family there, she's seeking identity. And without objectivity, her search will turn up nothing. We aren't all defined by who our family is. Aurea, it doesn't have to be. But I've done a lot of ancestry for people that come from families as successful as Aurea's. If she isn't assigning some greater meaning to all this, she'll be the first I've encountered. I'll keep that in mind. Food for thought, please. One of the greatest tragedies of the Surge is the loss of stories. The Enclave might not be that old, but I can understand that. Oh? My parents' generation tend to stay quiet around the fire. Whatever stories Khanhanders had were beaten out of us by public lashings, and we haven't had time since independence to start telling new ones. Ah, yes. Bryn of Carnhaven. Wait, like what Darm called me? You were listening? I always am. Habit born of a Udean upbringing, I suppose. But did you ever have the urge to press a little harder? To try and learn just one or two stories? Even if it was painful for the person telling them? Honestly, in that case, I'm happy to let the past lie. If I didn't want to look forward, I wouldn't have left to join Aaron's Weaver band. And I wouldn't have ended up here. So I'm here to live new stories. Not... I understand the drive. But do you think perhaps, not to make assumptions, but it can't have been easy growing up? There's joy in freedom. And even though that's what independence promised, I didn't feel like I understand. The physical chains are gone, but the mental bind, perhaps. Our presence can help the denizens of the Enclave avoid the same trap.
It might sound callous, but...
They're in worse shape than any of us expected.
They've done so little to repair the... How can a society once renowned for its genius become... It makes me question if they were ever as great as we all believe they were.
Some myth to keep Weavers going after the Surge.
Exactly. Something for us to believe in, whether or not it was true.
There is probably a mix of truth and legend in our stories of the Nothing's black and white. Isn't that always the case in history?
Yes, I suppose this could have been expected, but it's rare we have a chance to confront history. I'm just not sure what to think anymore.
That wasn't exactly the warmest welcome. I'm guessing the Enclave Council isn't your biggest fan right now.
What's not to love?
And if they fail you now...
Then I'll roundhouse kick those Surgeborn.
Whatever the Council thinks of you, I'm glad you're trying to help them.
Yeah. They don't seem to be in great shape.
Nothing our daring point can't fix.
And then, Sev and I realized we might be able to repurpose the carapace for more than just loom gates.
Uh-huh.
Purely theoretical right now, but I'm contemplating tangle-resistant gear, or even a protect...
I'm a little busy trying to look over these Tarmakine schematics again.
Oh. Okay. You're...
Oh. Everything all right? Things between you and Dom seem...
Yeah. A bit. I'm not...
Have you told him how you're feeling?
It feels like he's so wrapped up in his...
He is easily distracted, but maybe you should try again. If there's one thing I know about Dom, he must care about your feelings.
Then why isn't he asking about them? Sorry, this isn't on you. I'm just frustrated.
How so?
I need to show him. By investigating Tarmakind practices, maybe I can make some headway on restoring the...
Hey, I'm always down to investigate lost knowledge. Especially in the...
You'll help me?
Of course.
Amazing. I'll ask the Axel if she knows anything about Tarmakind's...
Great idea. I'll meet you at Cassidy's Hold.
Use these well. Going to need more feathers.
Ma látod, ezt meg sem variáljuk meg.
That's an intimidating silhouette.
Miért rakjak rá valami olyat, amitől nem lesz semmi előnyem?
Fit for a point.
Jó, akkor viszont nyomassunk upgrade-eket.
A delicate tool for precision work. Wield it well. Swing hard. Kept it light for agility.
Ezzel a szerkezettel, amit felállítottunk.
Nice to work on something a little lighter every once in a while.
Ezt nem igazán fogtam, hogy ezen miért nem változtattunk. Ja, mert hogy megint 10-et nyomtam, mi? Nyomtunk rá erre.
For agility.
Jó, meg vagyunk, figyelj, és akkor még veled uncsizzuk le, amit le kell.
Making yourself a...
Yes. I don't want to
And the eye is okay with...
I convinced him I would be keeping an eye on you.
És akkor legközelebb tényleg azzal tudunk már foglalkozni, hogy akkor elkezdjük megoldani az új helyszínek felfedezését, meg ezeket a küldetéseket.
Welcome to the camp, Eric.
You still call us that?
Yeah, but it's more...
Let's.
How are you settling in, Eric? Things going well?
Good. Yeah.
Just good?
No, not really. Something's going on at the hold, and it's making the eye publicly scorched you for opening up Asylum. And yet I've heard him telling the Spindle that this could... Meanwhile, the runners are stretched paper thin, keeping supplies moving. Which, of course, leaves my people no time to deal with actual threats.
Sounds like you could use some help. What's the problem?
Really? Oh, dancing winds, where to... No, wait, I know. The Spitfires. A particularly aggressive group seems set on spreading... In particular, they're building nests in some areas I was hoping to use as training grounds. But...
Would the areas be safe if I took care of the nests?
Yes, though the nests are very durable. They will turn brittle if you get them cold enough.
Consider it done.
Maybe an odd request. Could you ask Oria if I could power the scry while you're tackling them?
Why not ask her yourself?
I feel like I have a lot to learn from Oria and how she works with you. And it's strangely...
She is a force of nature. I get it.
Thanks again. It's genuinely exciting to learn from someone new for once.
So, what were you speaking to the eye about?
Nothing. I don't want...
I didn't mean to pry. I just wanted to make sure you're okay.
You want to know if I'm okay?
Yeah.
Then how come no one is at all concerned with the fact we can't leave? This isn't my life. Traveling with a Weaver band was supposed to be temporary. For me, at least. There are things I should get back to in Tarza. And it's increasingly clear no one has any idea when I will. If ever. So no, I'm not okay.
I'm so sorry. I had no idea you were feeling this way. You're right.
I...
The truth is, We don't know how or when we're getting out of here. But if you want to leave, we should have made that more of a priority. Or at least made you feel more heard. So we'll work on it. Promise.
Really?
No catch. Apprentice or full-time weaver. What's important to you is important to all of us.
I don't know what to say.
Az képest, hogy milyen nagy darab, komolyan egy ilyen kis petolika kis nem szimpi viselkedhetne hősiesebben, bátrabban is. Jó, és akkor igen, mondta, hogy kérdezzük meg őt. Jó, még itt, még bőven van.
I know, I'm worried too. So is the rest of the band. Let's talk at the archive, privately. I'll join you and Lane in a moment.
All right. Hi, Aurea. I am here on behalf of Arakim.
That's weirdly formal. Everything all right?
He finds you intimidating. Personally, I don't see it, but I thought I'd be extra polite for his sake.
He does. Good.
He's wondering if he could power the scry while I run an errand for him. He's hoping you'll give him tips.
Happily. But feel free to tell him I was a bit scary, to keep him on his toes. It's safe to say Casmin hasn't been acting like herself. She's always been tightly...
Bryn, she seems more open with you than most. Can you describe in detail what's...
She's begging me for more supplies, even though...
Not that we could tell, because she's covered it up.
More than that, she just seems... distressed. She's always talking about worst-case scenarios, and lately it's like she's convinced we're all going to die.
I have heard rumors of abnormal behavior developing.
What kind of rumor?
In polytheistic beliefs that are pervasive in the southern part of the Maida, there is an affliction known as Ira's plague. The sufferer is haunted by twisted visions of death. The goddess of justice, Ira, won't allow the sufferer inner peace until they repent through scrupulosity.
Scrupulosity?
Oh, my apologies. I forget most people don't follow UD in eschatological study. Scrupulosity can be best described as a series of repetitive acts that one is compelled to do. For example, if Casmin is plagued by relentless images of our band dying from exposure...
She might send our point out over and over again to retrieve supplies.
Yes, in order to...
Are you seriously suggesting Casmin is... what? Possessed?
Of course not. I'm confident that this is merely a stigmatized phenomenon that could not be explained through facts or science. So the populace explained it through religious folly instead.
Any ideas what facts could explain it?
I didn't realize Casmin was spiritual. Is she really trying to hide these visions from us?
Though not devout herself, Casmin grew up with a strict Ashar mother.
You're right, she did.
It's possible Casmin's affliction was a point of shame or contention, but perhaps she fears rejection if she shares her experience with us.
Kashar, what does Ira's plague have to do with them?
While most see Kashar as a celebrated merging of the two cultures, some fringe sects disagree. They believe the wider lineage simply leads to more ancestrals, and thus only Kashar can be afflicted.
Really? Where do you land?
The concept of impure lineage is clearly hogwash.
All right. Casmin is suffering. We need to do something about it.
And preemptively? No exorcisms?
As I said, this is likely nothing more than a condition that has been stigmatized by religion. A scientific explanation must exist, and thankfully, we are in the heart of progressive thinking.
You think the Enclave could have done research on this?
Makes sense. Where should I start looking?
The steps in the upper city is where I'd start. Between the main building of the spire and the atrium used to stand a school for alchemists. From your explorations, the surge hit that area pretty hard, but some of the building may still be...
Great. What am I looking for?
Maybe the name of someone who suffered like Casmin. Or a healer who... If you find someone like that, you'll want to search the areas of the city where they spent time.
Szerencsétlen városnövelő, vagy hát tábornövelők is ezért szekeres csajszínek.
Ira's plague is wildly misunderstood across the Maida.
Hogy ez valami fertőzés, ami
You're right.
kicsit az agyára hat. És ezzel kapcsolatosan elmondtak nekünk mindent.
Good news. Ori is absolutely willing to give you pointers on the scry. She joked I should play up her scary side, but on...
I've coordinated lots of operations from Cassidon's hold, but I never had much formal training. A chance to learn from someone with decades of experiences.
I'll be there with you then, when you get close to the nests.
They're in the Bastion's yard and Envoy's Landing in Upper Denevron.
Ok. Na, azt hiszem minden meg vagyunk. Minden fejlesztést elvégeztünk. És itt van. Rohadt sok főküldetés, és csomó ellékes itt megjelent. Igen, például Upper. És ezek még mind-mind visszavezetnek minket a korábbi területekre, úgyhogy ezzel fogjuk folytatni. De most elmegyünk. Hosszú volt, kérem szépen ez a kis dumcsizás. Hát legyen jó mindenki. Na, szasztok!